TSN presents Labatt's Blue Jays Baseball. From Fenway Park in Boston, it's the Blue Jays and the Red Sox. Brought to you by Petro-Canada Dealers and Agents. Our energy is Canada. And by General Motors of Canada Limited. Well, how about those Blue Jays? They're finally on a bit of a roll. They have won 3 in a row, and you have to go back all the way to April 23rd when they completed a 5-game winning streak. Since then, it has been a long drought for winning streaks. The most they've ever put together was 2. And Buck Martinez, now that they're on this 3-game winning streak, what has been the difference with this ball club?
Well, I think finally they realized that their whole lineup is back intact. You've got Jesse Barfield back in right field. Nelson Liriano, in my mind, looks like he's more confident, a little more aggressive at the plate. George Bell hit a home run last night. That's always a good sign. They got a couple of more home runs from Cecil Fielder and Pat Borders, but really had to survive a big 4-run 9th inning from the Boston Red Sox. So it's always an adventure here in Fenway Park.
Their bullpen, too, I think, has put up a pretty good performance.
It's been outstanding. Wednesday night, Dwayne Ward pitched 3 outstanding innings of relief to earn a save. Last night, David Wells come in after Jose Nunez injured himself, and what a fine job of relief he did.
Well, it'll be John Cerutti at 3-2 against Dennis Oil Can Boyd tonight at 5-3. So stay with us on TSN.
Manager Jimmy Williams, playing in Fenway Park is always an adventure, and last night you had a 2-run lead going into the 9th, and you were playing for an insurance run. It worked out. You got 3 big runs on a couple of homers, but it proved to be the winning margin as they came back with 4 in the bottom of the 9th, but it's always exciting here in Fenway.
Different angles here, Buck. You got the green monster, and of course you got the different angles of the fence out there, so it's different than any other ballpark that you're going to play in. And you never know what's going to happen here. I mean, we've had games here before. I can remember one Dave Steve had here a couple of years ago. I think maybe you were catching where Reed Nichols hit a ball off the wall. Dave had a shutout. So you never know what's going to happen here until it's over.
Looking at Henke's line score on the game last night, it looked like he really had a bad outing, but basically the pitch to Rice, a little blooper back to second base, bad hop down the third baseline, a couple of breaks, and Henke might have been out of that inning.
Well, really, the very first pitch he made, I thought was a good pitch. He could have been out of there with one pitch, a little blooper. He jammed Rice. He got it in a good spot, but he muscled it over the infield, and next couple of hitters got base hits, and we walked Boggs. And bad hop ground ball to Groover, and we were really in trouble then, and then I got the big out with Greenwell.
David Wells continues to throw the ball well. 4 1/3 last night. Outstanding relief job.
No, he's been very good, especially of late. And power pitcher, good breaking ball, throws strikes, and really feels good about himself.
Dennis Oil Can Boyd with a record of 5-3, making his 11th start. And this is the lineup that he'll be facing, brought to you by Apple Canada.
For Jimmy Williams and the Blue Jays, it'll be Tony Fernandez in his familiar leadoff spot. Center fielder Lloyd Mosby, a couple hits in last night's game against left-hander Bruce Hurst. Rance Mullinex gets the call at the DH spot. George Bell with that home run last night to start the scoring for the Blue Jays. Fred McGriff will get the start and bat 5th over at first base. Kelly Gruber will be the 3rd baseman. Ernie Wick behind the plate. Jesse Barfield in right field, just coming off that disabled list. And Nelson Liriano will be the 2nd baseman.
As far as the defense concerned, a last-minute change about 5 minutes ago. Todd Benzinger was supposed to start in right field, but the rookie Brady Anderson will be out there. Benzinger's out, strained right elbow. The rest, Boggs, one of the outstanding hitters in the game today. Owen, Barrett, Evans, Rick Cerrone doing the catching. Of course, the veteran Jimmy Rice out there in left field, and Ellis Burks in center. Tony Fernandez will lead it off for the Toronto Blue Jays. Tony was 0 for 5 in last night's ball game, but he has been hitting the ball, I think, with a lot of consistency for the Blue Jays. There's no other park like it in all of baseball. A green monster out there in left field, 37 feet high. There's a 20-foot screen on top of that. Over dimensions. A park that was built in 1912. Fernandez down to the shortstop. Oh, and it's got to hurry. Oh, and Fernandez was fouled out at first. He's not too crazy about that call by Larry Barnett. I think
see Tony feels that he beat the play, but here's that slap bunt we see so often from Fernandez. He gets it by Boyd, and Owen has to charge hard, makes a nice defensive play, flips on to first base. It's bang, bang at the bag. Looks
Good
like
call.
they got him.
Yep, it was a good call from that angle.
Veteran Larry Barnett at first base. Boy, they don't miss too many, do they?
Nope.
Even when we think that we look at it at a better angle, we see instant replay, the umpires are right 9 times out of 10.
Mosby's the batter.
That's the key to Oil Can Boyd's success tonight as you look at Lloyd Mosby's numbers. Boyd has to throw the fastball. Rick Cerrone wants him to establish the fastball early in the game.
Chopper down to the first baseman, Dwight Evans, and he'll make the unassisted putout. For Oil Can Boyd, lifetime against the Blue Jays, he's 3 of 2, and he has been shelled his last 2 outings.
Given up 13 home runs this year. Long ball has been a problem for him. But you have to remember he missed most of last season with arm problems. He's just now beginning to get in the groove. Last time out against Oakland, had a pretty good game, and Cerrone is trying to get him to establish the fastball and make some good pitches and have more confidence in the fastball.
Well, his last outing against Oakland, he went just 3 2/3, 7 hits, 5 earned runs. Before that, up in Seattle, the Mariners beat him 14-3. He pitched 1+ inning, gave up 6 earned runs in that one. A ball and a strike to Mullinex.
With that arm problem that Boyd has suffered through, sometimes a pitcher doesn't believe he's throwing the ball as well as he actually is. Cerrone is pleased with his velocity and really trying to get his pitcher to throw a few more fastballs. He's not a power pitcher by any means, but he has to utilize that fastball to set his off-speed pitches up. He has a good overhand curveball. He has a screwball, and he throws a straight change. More recently, he's thrown an awful lot of straight changes and been missing with that pitch and has to come in with the fastball like this pitch right here.
Hit down the left field line. Will it stay in fair territory? It does. Mullinex rounds first, heads to second with a double.
That's been Oil Can Boyd's problem recently. He's been behind and has to come in there with that good fastball. Mullinex, the good fastball hitter that he is, just goes with the pitch, fights it off, but has enough on it to get it down the left field corner. Boyd watching, hoping it's going to twist foul, but it's going to stay fair. Jimmy Rice out in left field tonight gives chase, and it bounces down in that left field corner, and Mullinex has a 2-out double.
So many different angles in this ballpark. George Bell steps in against Oil Can. Bell last night started the Blue Jays on their way for their 24th win of the season with a 2-run homer in the 6th inning, and he hit it good.
Home run number 8. Hurst didn't get that pitch in where he wanted it. 0-2 pitch, he just didn't get it in far enough.
Extra base hit. You see where Bell and McGriff are. Hardible, the leader. He hit a home run last night, by the way. Hardible, Kansas City. That's fouled back out of play. Big trade today between Cleveland and Kansas City. The Indians traded their first baseman designated hitter Pat Tabler to Kansas City for left-handed pitcher Bud Black. So the Blue Jays, I'm sure, will see Black next week in their 3-game series. Tabler was hitting .224.
Black will give him a little more depth. A veteran pitcher coming over, left-handed pitcher. Cleveland's in need of some pitching help.
Black had made 17 relief appearances this season for the Royals, and he was 2-1.
The thing that you got to admire about the Indians front office is the fact that they've made a deal. They know they're close. Their ball club is playing good offensively. And if they get a little boost now, a little shot in the arm, anytime you get a trade in the middle of the season, it kind of picks up the spirits of the team. And I was talking with Danny Carnavelli, their scout, last night, and they were looking around for a veteran pitcher that might just be that added boost.
The Indians just a game and a half back of the Yankees. Pops it up, but it'll come back out of play.
Rick Cerone, the veteran who was released by the Yankees and played for the Blue Jays.
Caught the first pitch, 1977. Yep.
He was all ready to pack it in and go home this April. Red Sox called him up. Now he's hitting .330 and doing a good job behind the plate. It's never over till it's over, huh? Don't put those spikes away.
There's a chance for you?
No way. No way.
The 1-2 pitch. And he hits it down to Barrett, the second baseman. Bell was way off balance when he swung, as he is on numerous occasions, but he didn't get any one on that. So no score as we head to the bottom of the first. You're watching Labatt's Blue Jays baseball on TSN. Jimmy Williams talking to third base umpire Nick Bremigan. And I would think it is about Oil Can Boyd.
I think so. Bremigan, you just saw, went to his cap, like maybe he thinks that he might be getting a substance off his cap or something like that.
John Cerutti at 3-2 makes his 7th start, 14th appearance. And this is the lineup he'll be facing, brought to you by Apple Canada.
The Boston Red Sox lead the American League in hitting, but they've been stranding an awful lot of runners on base. And here's the lineup for John McNamara tonight. Ellis Burks is in center field. He'll lead it off. Marty Barrett with that 2-run double in last night's game will bat second. Wade Boggs, the third baseman. Dwight Evans over at first base. The DH is Mike Greenwell. Jim Rice gets a start in left field. Rick Cerone's the catcher. Spike Owen at shortstop, and Brady Anderson, a late-minute addition in right field. Ernie Witt, will you make adjustments in John Cerutti's pitch selection pitching in Fenway Park?
I don't think so. You know, I think a lot of pitchers get in trouble when they go and try to make an adjustment against some hitters, but we know the type of game that John wants to go, and we'll stay with that game plan.
John Cerutti at 3-2. 2-1 lifetime against these Red Sox. He has won his last 2 starts.
Big thing for Cerutti is using all of his pitches. He's going to use the sinker ball, curve ball, fork ball, and changeup.
Bell, Mosby, and Barfield in the outfield. Gruber, Fernandez, Liriano, McGriff, and Ernie Witt doing the catching. As Ellis Burks steps in and will lead it off for the Red Sox, who have hit the fewest home runs in the American League, 23. And Burks, with his 3 home runs, is tied for second spot in his club. Greenwell's the leader with 6. You got people like Boggs with 1, Evans with 3, Jimmy Rice has yet to hit a home run. Spike Owen, the shortstop, has even hit 3.
Kind of a power shortage here in Fenway. They've given up 52 home runs. Generally, it's just the opposite. This home team advantage playing in Fenway Park, and such a powerful lineup, but it's yet to click on all cylinders.
A high chopper up the middle that'll go out into center field for a base hit. Burks had a couple of hits in last night's game, and he just pounds this one into the turf.
This extends his hitting streak to 11 games. That's the way to start off a ball game, and you've got a hitting streak on the line, base hit, bounding ball up the middle. And now one of the few stolen base threats for the Red Sox is on base with a good hit and run man, and Marty Barrett coming to the plate.
Barrett on a 7-game hitting streak. He's a tough man to strike out.
He certainly stays within himself at the plate. He utilizes the entire field. He takes advantage of the defense. Right now with Liriano at second base, shaded a little bit towards second base, looking for that double play. Burks getting a lead at first. There's a big hole on the right side of the infield, and Barrett will probably take a shot at that hole. Burks has good speed at first base. John McNamara has had problems scoring runs, and he might try to get something on the board early here. As we mentioned, Barrett really handles the bat well. time, Burks was a little bit hesitant to get back. Looked like he had running on his mind. He's 7 for 10 in stolen bases.
Now Barrett steps back in. Takes a fastball for a strike. Great game last night as the Red Sox, who have come from behind 9 times for wins this season, almost got another one.
Marty Barrett stepped out, looked down at Joe Morgan and reconfirmed a sign that he thought he might have seen. Jimmy Williams put a pickoff play on a pitch out last night and got Burks in the only stolen base attempt. Borders with a fine throw to second base. Cerutti over there now. Back. So Jimmy Williams had a feeling last night. This is a good hit-and-run count, 1-1. There's the signs. He's flashing Ernie Witt. Witt on to Cerutti.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. Catches that inside corner. And Marty Barrett didn't like the call as he turned to the home plate umpire, Greg Kosk.
Barrett always complains about that inside strike. He likes the ball out over the plate, and he feels he has a pretty good eye on that inside corner. So he has always, ever since he first came into the league, complained about that inside strike.
That was back in '84 when he won the job as the regular second baseman. Slaps that down the line, but into the stands. Out of play.
He had a good pitch to hit, and he's shaking his head. Had to pull it foul. Last night he hit a high fastball off Tom Henke in the 9th inning to drive in, too. A line drive up the left field alley. There's Bell giving a young fan a souvenir. That'll get you some good points here in Fenway Park. Even if you are George Bell. Yeah.
He needs it here.
They give him a rough time, don't they? Maybe that kid's dad won't holler so loudly now.
I laughed before the game. There's 2 kids down by the Blue Jay dugout, and they were waiting for George Bell to come out. And they said, you know, we're hearing stories that Bell's not a bad guy. And they wanted his autograph. They wanted me to go get it. You guys wait. I don't know if they ever did get it. I told them that George is a great guy. He really is. Fly ball, center field. Mosby under it. And that'll bring up the third baseman, Wade Boggs.
Wade Boggs is a hitter. What's more important to you, knowing the pitcher or perfecting your mechanics?
I think knowing the pitcher. You can come out and work on your mechanics in BP, but if you've never faced a pitcher, the toughest part is not knowing what his ball's going to do. You come up there and he might have a sinking fastball and a curveball, and you really haven't heard too much about him. And a lot of times the pitcher will surprise you.
A lifetime .346 hitter against the Blue Jays. Jimmy Williams had him walked intentionally in the game last night, and that move paid off.
Well, he represented the tying run when he put him on, too. But Williams was confident.
The winning run.
It was the winning.
Yeah,
he was the
yeah,
winning run.
that's
You're right. But he felt, hey, this guy has proven to me time and time again that he can hit. And he had the tying run in the person of Marty Barrett down at second base with the base open. So Williams put him on base. There you look at the leaders.
Sitting in third spot. There goes the runner. Oh, what a jump Burks had. Will have no chance at all.
Burks did a nice job of guessing with John Cerutti right there. He made up his mind he was going to run on that pitch. Got a great jump. Ernie Witt had no chance to throw him out. Halfway down before he ever got the ball. That's all Ernie Witt can do is make sure he doesn't throw it into center field. Take your time and make a good, accurate throw.
They held Boggs to just 1 hit last night, which is an accomplishment in itself.
That was a good fastball that Cerutti got inside the Boggs. Boggs is so good when he's out over the plate. He likes that ball out over the plate. Very good fastball hitter. The Jays have had some success when they've gotten Boggs to pull the ball on the right side on the infield.
Hit out into left field. Bell back to the warning track, and he's got it. Burks will head back to second.
You can see how Boggs swung at that pitch. He inside out that pitch. He was trying to fight it into left field, but Cerutti did a nice job. Boggs was really aiming back towards center in left center because he's facing the left-hander. He wants to make sure he doesn't pull off the ball.
Dwight Dewey Evans in the batter's box as Witt is out talking to John Cerutti.
Wants him to realize you've got a base open. Evans is such a good power hitter, although he's off to a slow start this year with only 3 home runs. He has driven in 33 runs and hitting .311. Got a left-hander and a young hitter in Mike Greenwell on deck. So you've got a base open. You want to make sure you make good pitches to this guy.
And he's on a 14-game hitting streak.
Well, he's got a 4-leaf clover in his pocket. Last night he hit a couple of ground balls, both bad hot singles. One almost hit Fernandez up the middle. And the other one in the 9th inning just about hit Kelly Gruber in the nose.
The 3 home runs that he's hit this season have all been on the road. He wants that ball changed. In Cerutti's 13-2 win over Texas, he went 6 innings, gave up 4 hits and 1 earned run. And in his 4-2 win over Chicago, 8 innings, 5 hits, and a couple of earned runs. He's done a nice job for the Blue Jays, as he has over his career.
He's one of those winning type of pitchers. You send him out there, and if you see him one time, you might not be overly impressed with his stuff. But you see him pitch time and time again. He goes out there and gives you quality innings all the time. He's versatile. He can swing. He can put out of the bullpen or start. Just a good guy to have around.
Fastball for a strike. Now Evans will step out.
Intentional pass because they were just trying to pitch around him, and Witt says, okay, now we've got to go to the left-hander. So Evans is on with a walk, and Mike Greenwell will step in with 2 outs and runners at first and second.
And Greenwell is on a 9-game hitting streak. These Red Sox have been hitting, but not in crucial situations. They trail the Yankees by 7 games.
Greenwell been bothered by his shoulder problem. Kept him out of the left field position. He's had the DH the last 2 days.
With 6 home runs, he's hit them all right here at Fenway Park.
Last year, in just 412 at-bats, he drove in 89 runs. What a way to break in.
Off the handle, a jab shot up the middle, base hit. That'll score Burks. As Evans goes to third. The Red Sox lead it 1-0.
Cerutti makes a good pitch on Greenwell. It shatters his bat as he crowds him with a fastball, but Greenwell kept it in play by just guiding it back up the middle. It wasn't hit hard enough to get to Mosby, so Evans could go all the way around to third base. Al Bumbry, the first base coach, telling Greenwell what's ahead of him with 2 outs. Now Evans at third, Greenwell at first, and the Red Sox are first on the board tonight.
And Jim Rice is the hitter. He has struggled all season long. Hitting just .243. Has not hit a home run and has driven in only 15.
Sounds awfully strange to come to Fenway Park and hear him boo Jim Rice. And that's the case this year. We talked about not wanting to be the DH. Now McNamara having to move him back and forth with Greenwell.
That'll go back into the stands, out of play. Another count, a ball and a strike.
This is only Rice's 10th start in left field this year. But he wasn't pleased when they made the announcement that he was going to DH quite a bit in spring training. Matter of fact, at one point he said, I don't care what the manager said, I'm the left fielder.
puts it up in the infield. Gruber, the third baseman. Now he'll leave it for Fernandez, and he'll make the play. So Cerutti gets out of it with just one run, as the Red Sox pick up a couple of base hits in this first inning, and Cerutti walked one. You're watching Labatt's Blue Jays baseball on TSN.
Cerrone, Rick, so far this year, Oil Can Boyd has had some problems with the home run ball. He's given up 13 home runs to this point. What is the main reason that he's given up so many long balls?
Well, I think the biggest thing we've seen is his control is not what it used to be. He didn't pitch a whole year last year, so it's tough. He's used to throwing that ball in the corners, locating real well. He's made mistakes up in the strike zone. And I think the other thing that we have to look at is maybe his velocity hasn't been as good as he'd like it to be. He's been inconsistent. That's the whole thing. He throws a great game like he did against Oakland. He shut him down for one run, and then he comes back and gets hit pretty hard, especially with the home runs. It's hurt him a lot.
Oil Can only made 7 starts for the Red Sox last year, injured his shoulder, and had surgery August the 21st. We'll go back to 86. Of course, that was his best year, 16-10 with 10 complete games.
There's that changeup he threw McGriff, just missing low, and once again he's in a hole. It's really concerns a catcher when you've got a pitcher that's really not throwing the ball that well, as you look at some pretty good numbers from McGriff.
Takes a fastball for a strike. He's 5th in the American League in hitting, 2nd in on-base percentage, and 2nd in slugging. Down the right field line, base hit. McGriff will have to hustle. Anderson over, makes that play. Go wide of second, and McGriff has a double.
McGriff broke his bat on this base hit, but he'll take it. Just out in front of it, hit it off the end of the bat. This goes down in the danger area for those fans. Generally, they'll reach out and touch it. That fan just missed it. Anderson, good arm, good defensive player, but not in time to get McGriff at second base. And the Blue Jays have a leadoff double. Brady Anderson, last-minute replacement for Todd Benzinger, when Benzinger came up with a sore elbow and was scratched.
A good young player. Had a big year last year in the minors. Kelly Gruber slaps that one down the right side. It's foul.
That's just another example of how much progress Kelly Gruber has made over the last year. Look at the numbers. 300, 5 home runs, 31 RBIs. But what he was trying to do in that first swing was hit the ball on the ground on the right side to advance the runner to third base. He's just all of a sudden picked up instinct overnight. Everything has come together for him here in '88. Look at that.
There he hits that to the right side to Barrett. And he'll make the play to get Gruber at first, but he gets the job done with McGriff down at third.
That's what the Blue Jays need to do. Do the little things, put some runs on the board by little baseball, advancing the runners like Gruber did last night in the 9th inning. He put down a sacrifice bunt. And here he just really unselfishly takes that ground ball on the right side of the infield to put McGriff at third base for Ernie Witt with only 1 out. That's good baseball.
Ernie has been struggling at the plate. A couple of hits in his last 16 at-bats. Originally signed by these Boston Red Sox. There's just 4 extra base hits this season. Whereas last year he finished up with 19 home runs, 75 RBIs. He's not got on track yet. Not even sure if they announced that the other night at Exhibition Stadium that he played his 1,000th game. One of the most popular players to wear a Blue Jay uniform. I think the guy sitting beside me is that same category. Oh, he hits that one to the right field corner. Anderson back, he jumps, he makes the catch. McGriff tags and will come in, so Ernie Witt gets a sacrifice fly RBI, but it took a great play by Anderson, the rookie, to get him out of there.
Ernie Witt once again hits the ball on the nose. It's a hanging breaking ball from Boyd. It looks like it has a chance to go out. but it's a cool night here in Fenway, and the ball hangs up a little bit. Anderson, with good speed, makes a fine defensive play. Going over towards the warning track, jumps quite a bit short of the fence, but still made a nice play on Witt. But Witt will be credited with an RBI, and we've got a 1-1 ball game.
Witt has 4 career home runs against the Red Sox. He's hit them all right here in this ballpark. Jesse Barfield. First pitch was the ball.
I know it's easy to say, but Ernie Witt's starting to swing the bat a little better, but he's not really too satisfied. He still can't get any hits, and that's a big RBI. When you answer back after the home team has scored 1 and you come right back and score 1 yourself to tie the game, that's a lot of confidence builder for that Blue Jay team.
And this is the guy they need to break out of a long slump. And just 3 home runs in his last 59 games. Just came. Whoa, what a play! Oil can makes that stab. Wow.
Always animated, Oil Can Boyd makes a nice play on Jesse Barfield. Right back through the box. Makes a good play and then catches his balance. A couple of balls hit pretty hard and not much to show for it.
It's tied at 1. You're watching Labatt's Blue Jays baseball on TSN. Well, on a rather cold, chilly night here at Fenway Park in Boston, it's tied at 1 as we go to the bottom of the second. John Cerutti on the mound for Toronto. Dennis Oil Can Boyd for the Red Sox. Cerrone, Owen, and Anderson. Bottom 3 in the Red Sox order will face the left-hander. The Red Sox 14-13 this season here at Fenway. 11-10 on the road. If you go back to 1986, you might remember when Cerutti beat Oil Can Boyd right here at Fenway. 8-5. Rex Cerrone, what a job he has done since being picked up from the Yankees. Gedman has sure struggled, hasn't he? And he's out in front of that one and puts it into the stands.
Ever since last year, Richie Gedman has had injury problems, and this year it continues as he broke his foot earlier in the season.
Indians, a game and a half back, they traded Pat Tabler for left-hander Bud Black. Detroit 3.5 back, and the Blue Jays 10.5 back. Look at Oakland. They're running away with that West Division.
I don't think the Cleveland Indians are quite finished yet trading. They've got a couple of good bullpenners now. If they use Black in the rotation, they can move Scott Bales to the bullpen with Doug Jones, who's been outstanding in the bullpen. But those middle relievers out there have had some problems, and they're still looking for more pitching help.
They've always been a team with lots of offense. Ground ball down to Liriano. And Buck, you and I were talking before this game that this infield might be the worst in the American League.
Well, this year,
I'm not talking about Blue Jay players that you see out there. I'm talking about the actual infield itself, the dirt.
Well, we saw a couple of bad hops last night, and there's a good look at it from the ground level. Generally, it's an outstanding field, but for some reason, it seems to be more of a clay substance this year. You can see that it's really clumped up in different spots around the infield. And last night, Gruber got a nasty hop down at third. Dwight Evans got a base hit off that ball and loaded the bases with 2 outs in the ninth, and very easily could have cost the Blue Jays the game.
Spike Owen, the shortstop.
John McNamara having trouble trying to decide who's going to be their shortstop. They've gone back and forth. Spike Owen, Jody Reed. There's a look at the skipper.
Fouls that back out of play.
Owen is now hitting 5 straight games with a 389 clip, but the manager is looking for somebody to hit at shortstop position. The way the club has struggled to score runs, he's looking for offense wherever he can find it. Owen is a slow starter. Last year he hit 143 in the month of April, and once again he's off to another slow start, because you can see now, put that 5-game hit streak together, and he's starting to feel a little better, a little more consistent at the plate. As a player, it's very tough to go 4 or 5 games and then be benched for 4 or 5 games, and develop any continuity at the plate. 90% of this game is mental.
He's had a pretty good fielding average, though, for a shortstop for the last 4 years.
But you got to have confidence at the plate. And that's developed by playing a lot.
Get out in the left field. Bell going over, and he's there to make the catch. Good to see Bell hit a home run last night, and maybe he'll get on a hot streak. Well, they've retired 3 numbers. The Red Sox, there they are. Ted Williams, Joe Cronin, and Bobby Doerr.
That's great to see Bobby's number up there. We've seen 9 and 4 up there for so many years, but Bobby Doerr was retired this year. Spent so many years at the Blue Jays organization.
One of the finest gentlemen you'll ever meet.
Without a doubt. What a classy man. Up on the Rogue River in Oregon, doing some fishing.
He's got a dish, too. He says he watches the Blue Jay games.
Well, if Bobby's watching tonight,
Yeah.
I hope he's catching some steelhead. That's what they're catching up there. Brady
24-year-old Brady Anderson.
He's been struggling.
Fouls that back.
0 for 16, 2 for 24. That's certain that he would have made the ball club out of spring training until Ellis Burke went down with an ankle injury. Anderson was penciled in center field, and when Burks came back, they moved Anderson to right.
Remember, Ellis Burke's ankle injury happened right in Dunedin. He lays down a bunt, but Cerutti bounces off the mound nicely to make the play. 3 up, 3 down for John Cerutti and the Blue Jays. Through 2, it's tied at 1. You're watching Labatt's Blue Jays baseball on TSN. Third inning, Nelson Liriano steps in against Dennis Oil Can Boyd. For Liriano, Buck, I think his defense has picked up considerably in the last 10 days. He drops a bunt down, so as you can see, it's in foul territory.
It seems as though he's getting more confident. For some reason, to start this season, he was struggling in the field. We saw him play so well at the end of last year when he came up in the midst of that pennant race, but he got off to a slow start with the bat initially, and then that carried out into the field, and his defense was suffering. But it looks as though he's got his confidence back once again.
Evens up the count at 1-1.
The little pieces of this Blue Jay puzzle starting to come back together.
I guess we better wish him happy birthday today. He's the big 2-4.
Big 2-4. There's no such thing as a big 2-4.
Oh, yes, there is.
We'd be thrilled
about that big.
High fastball right off Cerrone's head. Just think he could have been down at the beach this summer, not worried about those foul tips, huh? You gotta love it. He's interested in getting into broadcasting, too. I guess they see me doing it, think anybody can do it, huh?
Oh, wasn't he going to go to broadcast school?
He was all ready to go to work.
Where is that broadcast school?
I don't know. We're going to have to enroll.
A ball and 2 strikes. Fouls that back out of play.
I know there's a big one in Salina, Kansas. I've got my application in there, but haven't been accepted yet. Nelly had a couple of good at-bats last night. Didn't have much to show for it. Look at the Indians, boy. That trade's already paying off, isn't it? 4-0 in the first.
Walt Terrell pitching for Detroit. Rich Yett for the Cleveland Indians. Slapped down the third baseline, just foul.
Nick Bremigan right on the line. That ball hit just in front of his feet. He saw it the whole way. Yep, that's right. It was a couple inches foul. No doubt about it. Boy, that's frustrating when you're hitting 190-something and hit one right on the nose, but just goes foul.
The stadium seats just over 33,000. Pretty nice crowd here tonight. For Oil Can, that's his first strikeout.
Oil Can is a type of pitcher that really flourishes on momentum. As he gets it together, he really starts to feel the energy, and you can see he's very animated on the mound, always talking to himself, talking to his teammates, rooting everybody on. He's a good guy to have on your club because he really keeps everybody alive. Sometimes when you play against a guy like this, you really want to swing hard at him and hit him, but he's just out there having a good time pitching.
There was a time you never knew what he was going to do next. Fernandez lines that right at Ellis Burks. 2 down.
They've got some good-looking young players on this Boston Red Sox club. Burks, Benzinger, Greenwell.
Mosby in the first inning. And a easy ground ball to the first baseman, Dwight Evans, so he's 0 for 1. There's 13 extra base hits for the Shaker. He'll be our guest on extra innings tonight. Foul into the stands. So we invite your telephone calls. There's the number. You can write it down. 445-1811. Give us a call, collect, and have a chat with the Shaker.
He always has something interesting to say.
He's got quite a personality, doesn't he?
Sure does.
By the way, he's looking forward to golfing up at Nobles and Lakes, the Ernie Witt Charity Golf Classic next Thursday. You're going to be there, aren't you?
Yeah, we'll all be there. That's a great time.
Line into right field. Base hit. As Anderson will hold Mosby to a single. So with 2 down, that'll bring up the designated hitter, Rance Mullenix.
5. Mullenix. Designated hitter.
Mullenix doubled into that left field corner back in the first inning.
It's a good time to gamble for the Blue Jays. Tie ball game early in the game. 3rd inning, Mosby with good speed. On at first base.
I don't think there's any doubt about it. The Shaker has stolen 15 out of 16.
If he gets thrown out, you got Mullenix to lead off the next inning, and if he makes it, he's in scoring position.
Cerrone's arm has always been questionable. Mullenix takes a strike.
Well, that's a good camera angle. You can see the pitcher pitching from his set position, exactly what the base runner looks at when he's trying to gauge the timing. There's a good shot right there. Oil can checks Mosby. Quick throw. Oh. Boy, that's a great shot. Gives you a runner's eye view of the pitcher. See how he concentrates and watches Can's every move. Working for that lead. Remember, he's got to come set. There it is.
There goes Mosby. Here's the throw by Cerrone. He is called out.
Perfect throw by Rick Cerrone. Nice and deliberate, took his time, made sure he didn't rush it. And he delivered it on the money. Mosby had a pretty good jump. Watch the ball right on top of the bag as Owen makes a perfect tag right in time. Mosby's hand can't get to the bag.
Not bad for a guy with a questionable arm, is it? It's tied at 1. We're heading to the bottom of the 3rd. You're watching Labatt's Blue Jays baseball on TSN. Al Bumbre down at first base. He coaches the outfielders, the Red Sox minor league in the last couple of years. The veteran Joe Morgan down at 3rd. Joined the Red Sox back in '85 after a couple of years scouting for Boston. Managed in the minors for 16 years. As Ellis Burks, the center fielder, will lead it off here in the bottom of the 3rd. It was Burks who scored Boston's only run of the first inning. He singled, stole second. And Barrett and Boggs flied out. Evans walked, and then Mike Greenwell had an RBI single. Burks, a guy who has spent 4 years in the minor leagues.
Off-speed pitch. Burks was out in front, just got a piece of it and dribbled it foul. Hit him in the first inning for Burks, extended his hitting streak to 11. So the Red Sox continue to get base hits. They've just had trouble coming up with the clutch hitting. They've stranded 400 runners already this season.
Hard to believe, though, they've only hit 23 home runs. There they are, Jimmy Williams and John McNamara. A couple of guys on the old hot seat.
They talked about Johnny Mac having to be closer in first place around Memorial Day. That's come and gone, and he's still around. Talked to him before the game. He's from my hometown, Sacramento, California. He's an old catcher around there. I used to look up to him a lot when he was around the Sandlots. Heard a lot about Johnny Mac.
Chopper, Liriano tries to backhand it, boots it, and Burks will stay at first as Liriano chases that one out in the left field.
So Burks is 2 for 2 with a couple of ground balls through the middle. Liriano makes a fine effort trying to backhand it. He had moved over towards the hole a little bit more, but Burks has perfect positioning, and once it goes off Liriano's glove, he hit it with his knee and kicked it into shallow left field, but not far enough for Burks to advance.
Had he gloved that ball and hung on to it, the only play that he might have had to get Burks would be to flip that ball to Fernandez and have Fernandez fire it over.
Yeah, he couldn't have stopped and made a throw, and Fernandez would have been in position to take that.
Marty Barrett, who flied out to Mosby in center, so he's 0 for 1.
First pitch out. I'd do it right here. Doing. Barrett kind of squared around as if he was going to bunt. Barrett's a smart hitter. He does a lot of things like that. That'll draw in Kelly Gruber at third base a step or two, and maybe he can shoot one by him down at third. You see Gruber in on the grass. McGriff holding Burks on at first.
Well, we're getting all sorts of camera angles tonight. This is where our producer Tom McKee.
What the pitcher looks at for that lead as Burks works for his lead. Cerutti will have to judge how far that lead is. Too far. Chased him back. It's all timing from the runner at first base. Burks got a great jump off Cerutti back in the first inning when he stole second. Ernie Wood had no chance to throw him out at second base. It was Burks' 8th stolen base of the year.
Pitch is low. 2 balls and no strikes.
This is where Coach Joe Morgan flashing signs, trying to get things working for the Red Sox. This is where a pitcher has to concentrate on the batter. Don't lose so much attention on the runner. You know he's trying to work for a lead as you look at Burks over at first base, but you really got to be thinking about the hitter at the same time. Now he's behind 3-0. The bad thing about that for Jimmy Williams is the fact that Wade Boggs is on deck. Leadoff single to Burks, and Cerutti's behind 3-0 to Marty Barrett. You don't like that guy coming up.
Barrett didn't think that was a strike, so it's 3-1.
Pretty tough pitch from Cerutti, a breaking pitch.
Barrett averaged just 1 strikeout in every 16, almost 17 at bats.
If I'm Johnny McNamara, I start Burks right now.
Rudy knows it.
Barrett makes great contact. Burks has good speed. Good situation for the Red Sox to run. What's he doing?
Get out into shallow right field. Barfield will come in. He makes the play. So Cerutti.
The Labatt's player of the game for Boston will receive the new Canon Sure Shot Multi-Tele with the auto-retractable wide and tele autofocus lens. This fully automatic camera, loaded with extras, is available now. The Canon Sure Shot Multi-Tele.
Wade Boggs, the hitter, lined out to Bell in left field. He's 0 for 1. He's won the American League batting title 4 of the last 5 years. Without question, one of the great hitters in the game today.
A lot of controversy surrounding Boggs recently out in the West Coast when Greenwell came down with an injury. McNamara supposedly went to Boggs and asked him if he had hit leadoff, and he said, yeah, I'll hit leadoff, but then a report said that Boggs was upset about that. There's always been talk about how Boggs may be a little selfishly motivated. I don't understand that kind of talk because the guys out there hit 350 every year.
There goes Burks, the pitch out by Witt. Oh, they've got him by a country mile, but a balk has been called, so he is safe.
What happens in that situation? The pitcher's in such a hurry to throw a pitch out, he forgets about stopping. Watch Cerutti in full speed right here. No stop at all. Witt jumps out, pitch out. They had him by a mile.
You saw Dale Ford down in the corner of your screen. He called that.
More often than not, a pitcher will think about the pitch out so much, he says, okay, I'm going to get the runner, and then he forgets to stop. No stolen base for Burks, but he's down at second base just the same.
Yeah, that story was printed on Boggs in the Boston Globe, calling him a selfish player.
I'll take 10 of them.
Yep.
It makes selfish players to hit 350 and hit 24 home runs as he did last year.
Fly ball to left field. Bell will have a play in the corner. He's got it. And Burks will head back to second. 2 down, and that'll bring up the first baseman, Dwight Evans.
24. Dwight Evans, Bradley Evans.
For Cerutti, that was just his second balk this season. And the 12th for the Blue Jay pitching staff.
Once again, Ernie Witt out to talk to Cerutti. Same situation they had last time with Evans coming up to the plate, runner at second base, first base open. And they pitched very carefully to Evans and eventually walked him.
And then Greenwell had the RBI single out the middle.
Cerutti made a pretty good pitch on Greenwell, broke his bat, but he just drove it back through the box.
There's the old beach ball. That'll probably end up. Can't imagine they'd bring a beach ball to a game with almost, well, it's in the low 40s here tonight. I guess they're just pretending or something.
Got him.
Oh, sure looked like it was a play that he might have been out of it.
If that throws down a little bit, they've got a good shot of getting. Watch the gap between the runner and the base. Just a little bit high, and Ellis Burks gets his hand back in there. If that throws down a little bit, Mariano can make the tag right at the base.
Inside corner for a strike. It's 1-1.
It's that little cut fastball that Cerutti will throw from time to time to the right-handers, trying to jam them with that ball that starts on the inside corner and works its way towards those right-handed hitters.
It's amazing. Evans been such a great player over the years, and last year was the first time that he has ever hit 300. This is his 16th season. There's a base hit up the middle, and here comes Burks around the score. Mosby bobbles the ball, but he would have had no chance to get Burks at the plate.
Mosby probably wouldn't have even thrown that ball, and I think that's what happened. He took his eye off it. As Evans hits a pretty good pitch down and away from him, solidly into center. But Burks has good speed, and Mosby bobbles, but I don't think there would have been play at the plate.
So it's 2-1, the Red Sox leading. Mike Greenwell steps in. Sox have lost 4 of their last 6 games.
We talked about Greenwell's shoulder. He's been bothered by it basically since last year. He ran into a fence in Milwaukee. Thought it was just a bruise. Continued to play and it caused him trouble all year long.
He appealed to Bremigan and he said no. So it's 2 balls.
He made a throw in Oakland and just didn't feel right, so he came out of the lineup, and the next day it didn't respond, so he came home to see Dr. Arthur Pappas here in Boston. Found out it was just a strain, and after a week should be all right.
That's fouled back out of play. The Blue Jays, 5 games under 500, 10.5 behind the Yankees. You know, we talked about this some time ago, Buck, but I think the big thing about the Jays, if they can get back to playing 500 baseball and maybe get 6 or 7 games over the 500 mark by the All-Star break, and then look to make a move.
Well, you feel a little bit more excitement, a little more momentum in that clubhouse these days. They're starting to put some things together. Some good things are happening, making some good plays, getting good pitching out of that bullpen. And if they can get to that 500 plateau, then they can set their sights a little higher. But that's the first step.
There goes the runner. Hit deep to right field. Barfield back at the track. He's got it for the 3rd out. So the Red Sox score a run as Burke singled, went to second on a balk, and Dwight Evans brought him home with his 34th run batted in. 2-1 Red Sox leading. You're watching Labatt's Blue Jays baseball on TSN. Well, Rance Mullenix is at the plate. He was left standing there to end the 3rd inning when Mosby was thrown out at second. So he'll lead it off here in the 4th. A 2-1 ball game. Boston leading the Blue Jays. The Red Sox 2 games over 500. The Jays won last year's season series 7-6, but they're 2-9 since '77 against Boston. Chopped down to the second baseman, Marty Barrett, and they get Mullenix. I think Boston and Milwaukee are the 2 teams that have really had a dominance over the Blue Jays since '77.
It seems that way. The Milwaukee club, even before they became a very strong club in the East, always played the Blue Jays tough. And then we know what Fenway has been to the Blue Jays. Always a tough place for this club to play.
Bell, a soft liner to Marty Barrett back in the 1st inning, so he's 0 for 1 tonight.
I can still remember that September day when Bruce Hurst was on the mound in 1986, and they clinched the tie. And the Blue Jays' hopes were dashed here on that Saturday afternoon.
I laughed at Bell the other day in Texas. Remember, Buck, we were talking about how he went to the airport to see his brother? He got back, he looked at me, and he said, "You know what else I saw out there?" I said, "No." He said, "Remember Steve Crawford?" The guy that they just hated one another.
That's right.
I said, "Did he say anything?" He said, "No."
Crawford pitched for the Red Sox back when Bell charged the mound against Bruce Keeson. Had some words to say to each other. Oil Can Boyd trying to find a groove a little bit out in front of George Bell. A ball and 2 strikes with 1 out. Bell just does not look comfortable to me. He's jumping around in the box. You mentioned that little lazy fly ball he hit off the end of the bat. He's moving around an awful lot. That front leg seems to be flying from time to time. Just doesn't seem too comfortable.
It was interesting last night against Hurst in that 0-2 pitch. He was expecting a pitch inside, and he opened up his stance, that front foot of his, and just leaped on that ball. And he hit a rocket shot out of here.
But you can see how much movement's going on in that batter's box. And Bell is just, in my mind, not picking up the ball out of the pitcher's hand, but he works Boyd for a walk.
So with 1 down, that'll bring up the first baseman, Freddie McGriff, who doubled in the 2nd and has scored Toronto's only run in this 2-1 ball game. He keeps putting some numbers up there, doesn't he? Leads the club in doubles now and in home runs. hit to left field. Rice will play it off the wall, and Bell will head to third. McGriff will stay at first. And one thing about Jim Rice, the left fielder, he sure knows how to play the caroms off that wall.
He learned from the expert, Carl Yastrzemski, and Fred McGriff lashes a liner off this green monster. What a good pitch that was. He went down and got a fastball down and away from him. And as you mentioned, Fergie, Jim Rice plays the carom perfectly. George Bell alertly went first to third, and McGriff is held to a long single off the green monster.
That'll bring up Kelly McGruber, or Kelly Gruber, I should say, thinking of Fred McGriff.
That'd be a good combination.
McGruber, yeah,
Kelly McGruber,
McGriff.
the Scottish third baseman.
Where did I come up with that? And Gruber hits one into the gap out in right center. Bell will come in to score. McGriff is heading to third, and Gruber has a double. It's tied at 2.
Kelly Gruber's looking at Fred McGriff, said, "What are you doing, man? You got to score on that ball." It's all in good fun, but watch Kelly Gruber lash this ball to right center. It's curving away from Burks, who has good speed in center field. He can't catch up to it till it comes off the wall in right center. McGriff should have had a much better run at this. He's got to go all the way to the bag at second before that ball even gets to the ground, because hit so deep out there, if it is caught, McGriff could retreat to first base. That's a ball where he might have scored. But he's down at third, and Gruber's at second for Ernie Witt.
Remember what Witt did back in the second inning? Hit a line drive into the right field corner that Brady Anderson made a real nice play on. It's tied at 2. One down here in the 4th inning. Now Cerrone will go out and change signs with oil cans.
They're going to talk about signs a little bit, but they're also going to give that bullpen of the Red Sox a chance to get loose down there. Dennis Lamp, former Blue Jay, former Cub, former Oakland A, pitching well for this Boston club.
Former Chicago White Sox.
15 saves for the White Sox. In 84. There's another balk called. Nick Bremigan at third base calls a balk on Oil Can Boyd, and that'll bring across Fred McGriff.
So it is 3-2.
He just didn't stop. Now Bill Fisher, the pitching coach, is going to come out, try to get Boyd to regroup a little bit. This is one thing Cerrone talked about earlier in the day. If they get one run off Boyd in a situation, they're liable to score 2 or 3 runs, because sometimes he loses his concentration and he's distracted. He said, "I'm looking at the hitter, man, and I forgot all about that buck. I just moved. I got to think about stopping and concentrate. I know, Fish. I know what I did. I'm just trying out here." And now he's got another runner in scoring position at third base in the person of Kelly Gruber. Only 1 out. But the Blue Jays have scored 2 here in the top of the 4th inning and are threatening with another.
And Gruber takes a running lead off the third and disrupted Oil Can a bit.
Ground ball in the infield will produce another run for the Blue Jays. Johnny McNamara decides to play his infield back this early in the game. Changeup, Witt out in front of. Long drive to right field. His first time up produced the first Blue Jay run.
A ball and a strike with 1 down. 4th inning, Jays leading 3-2. That's hit out of the left. Base hit. That'll score Kelly Gruber.
Ernie Witt slaps a high fastball by Boggs at third base for his second RBI of the night. Up and away from him. He keeps his head right on the ball and drives it right through the hole to shortstop.
And that'll bring up Jesse Barfield, who hit a wicked shot right back at Oil Can that he caught the second inning. So Jesse's 0 for 1 tonight. Just 9 extra base hits for Barfield. Pitch is low.
We talked about the need of Boyd to stay ahead with his fastball. He hasn't done that. He's been behind most of the night. Been touched up for 4 runs and 6 hits through 3 in the third inning. You can see that velocity is not there that we've seen in the past from Oil Can Boyd. He's never been a power pitcher, but he had more velocity than he's showing tonight. And combine that velocity with the fact that he always had pretty good command of his control. But that surgery last August has taken its toll.
This is high. 3 balls and no strikes to Barfield.
Now he's letting the frustration get to him a little bit. He's trying to gather his thoughts out there as he falls behind 3-0. Just overthrowing a bit. You know, when the situation gets bad and pitchers try to muscle up, they really lose their mechanics. And their muscles tense up and they can't get through with that nice delivery.
He sure is fidgety on that mound, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Tough for a cameraman to keep a tight shot on him. 3-1 pitch, and Barfield fouls it into that Red Sox dugout.
Boyd is trying to get his composure and get out of this situation. He's given up 3 runs here in the 4th inning. But as we saw last night when the Red Sox came back with 4, this club can come up and get you late in the game.
Chopped down to the second baseman. They'll get 1. And they double up Barfield, who's not running that hard down the line. Is he hurting?
I don't know, but he certainly wasn't running very hard. Maybe he pulled something as he stepped out of the box, but that was a big double play for Oil Can Boyd.
4-2 as we head to the bottom of the 4th. Blue Jays leading. You're watching Labatt's Blue Jays baseball on TSN. To the Red Sox dugout. Oil Can with pitching coach Bill Fisher.
He knows he's been behind the hitters, and that's causing him some problems, and you can see that he's not too pleased with himself right now. Gave up 3 runs in the top of the 4th inning.
4-2, Blue Jays leading.
And it all started with a 1-out walk to George Bell.
Rice, Cerrone, and Owen. Rice popped up with 2 runners on in the 1st inning to the shortstop, Tony Fernandez. Line to the left field, base hit. Off the Bell, it'll go to the wall, and Rice will have the second. So George Bell makes his 4th error of the season.
Jim Rice hit this ball right on the button.
It looked like it took a bad hop, Buck.
Watch it skip on the grass.
Nope.
Nope, just handcuffed him. He didn't expect it to get out there that quickly. That's a big error to get things started for the Red Sox here. Puts Rice at second base.
Now Rick Cerrone steps in. He's 0 for 1, a ground ball to the second baseman.
Let's see if Cerrone shoots to the right side of the infield. You don't have to get them all back in bunches. That's where he's taking his aim. He really stayed closed on that, trying to hit a ground ball on the right side, as we saw Gruber do back in the 2nd inning for the Blue Jays, which led to a run when he advanced McGriff after McGriff had led the inning off with a double.
I just noticed that tonight is Cerutti's 30th start of the season. Not bad for a guy that the Yankees let go.
Well, he was released by the Yankees, and Rich Gedman, who was the regular catcher here until Cerrone came over, broke his foot. So he was forced into action. They had another catcher, John Marzano, who came up from the minor leagues, but Cerrone took the job.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. Off the knee of Cerutti. That hurt. He's in trouble.
Squarely off the kneecap. And you can see that Cerutti's in pain. You could hear it all the way up here. Hopefully it hit below the kneecap.
Oh, that doesn't look good at all, does it?
Let's see where they look. Down in that shin area. That would be better than around the knee. Tommy Craig, the trainer out there. Boy, he's been a busy man, hasn't he?
He sure has.
Several nagging injuries, and Jimmy Williams frustrated.
They're going right to the bullpen.
Right to the bullpen. It must have hit right on his knee.
Maybe the inside of his right knee.
Take a look on the replay here. Cerrone hits this shot right back up the middle. Good shot right here, the replay. Watch his right knee.
Yep.
Just inside.
Good shot from our director, Michael Lansbury.
Right on the kneecap. Once again from the center field camera. Cerrone trying to advance the runner, stays behind the ball, and hits right off Cerutti's kneecap. Wow, if there aren't enough nagging injuries on this Blue Jay club already.
Well, I don't like the looks of this one. Cerutti is still down on the field with trainer Tommy Craig. I noticed when Cerutti went after that ball, he took one step and his knee gave out.
Right on the kneecap.
Just his instinct took him after that ball.
Not a good sign. There's a good shot. Let's see what they're attending to. If it's below the knee, that's got to be a better sign. You don't want anything around that kneecap. Looks like the team doctor coming out from the Red Sox dugout. I'm sure that was Arthur Pappas, because Ernie Witt said hi to him, and he's been around here for a long time, so that's probably Dr. Pappas. And he'll follow John Cerutti right into the locker room, and they'll examine his knee right here, but at least he could put a little bit of weight on it. Last night, Jose Nunez had to come out with a strained muscle in his buttock. Tonight, John Cerutti gets hit on the knee.
Well, that injury you can handle. This is going to be a lot tougher. Well, that's a tough break for John Cerutti and the Blue Jays. Cerutti had given up a total of 5 hits. He had walked 1, didn't strike anybody out. As the rookie Todd Stottlemyre is now into the ball game. And this pitching change is brought to you by Skill. Boy, a list of the walking wounded. It's been that kind of a season for the Blue Jays. You know, you go down the Blue Jays lineup. Barfield was on the 15-day disabled list. Bell has had problems with his hand most of the season. Tony Fernandez, well, you know about his injuries. Manny Lee just came off the 15-day disabled list, and he had shoulder problems back in spring training, as Dr. Pappas is in there with Cerutti. Well, at least he's smiling. Boy, oh boy, that's a good sign, isn't it?
Well, I'm sure if they were seriously concerned, he would go for an x-ray. Now they're going to go upstairs and probably pack it down in ice. But initially it looked like good news. But there's no way of telling. And as gingerly as Cerutti is walking on it, he might be sore for a few days.
You know, Matt Stark started the season out on the injury list, and I noticed last night he hit a couple of home runs for Knoxville. So that's good news. Steve Davis, by the way, the left-hander down in Syracuse, he pitched a 3-hitter against Indianapolis and lost 1-0. 2 of the hits were bunt singles. He's allowed just 1 earned run in his last 23 innings pitched, and his record is 5-6. So it looks like he's only a half a step away from the Blue Jays. Jeff Musselman, he pitches on Sunday in Syracuse. Last Tuesday night was his first outing for Syracuse. I think he threw somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 pitches, went 2 2/3 innings, gave up 5 hits and a couple of runs. So, you know, that's a question. What are they going to do with Musselman when he comes up?
Well,
Will they make a starter out of him, or, you know, will his shoulder be able to take the rigors of pitching in the bullpen?
that'll be an interesting thing that they're going to have to evaluate the next couple of times that he pitches, see how strong he is, how far he's come back. But you have a little more control over a pitcher when he's starting. You can really take care of the number of pitches and the effort he puts in. Having a little meeting behind the base at second base. I know what Gruber's saying right there is, I can't believe Fred McGriff didn't score on that ball in the alley. That's why they're laughing. Mosby saying, yeah, he just trotted around the bases. Yeah, what do you think? I'll go this way. There's a Fred. He doesn't think much of that meeting, does he? Well, that's good to see.
Yeah, isn't it? I was just going to say the same thing.
Those look like old familiar spirits we've seen before. Yeah.
Poor old Fred McGriff. Look at that.
Look at Fred over there.
Maybe.
You know what Fred's saying? He said, I don't want to be around those guys. They're only hitting 300. I'm hitting 330. I'm going to stand over here where the good hitters are. That's what they're doing now. He said, Gruber's all over you, man. You should have scored on that ball up the alley. He said, you can't run a lick. Look at him. That's the old somebody said trick. Somebody over there said, yeah, I know. Mosby said, hey, Fred, he's getting on you over here. Somebody said. That somebody has a lot of sayings. Look at him. That's okay. I'm hitting 330. You can say what you want. You guys have your fun. How'd you like to have his future, huh?
Whoa.
He can be smiling for a long time.
I'd just like to carry his wallet around for a couple of years.
I tell you, it's great to see a young guy like Fred McGriff have success.
Definitely
He's quite a young man.
groin muscle carried his wallet in a couple of years. No question about that. Well, Stottlemyre will have as long as he wants to get ready.
This could be a very good outing for Todd Stottlemyre. It's a good situation for him to come in. There you look at his numbers, right-handed versus left-handers, having some big trouble with the lefties. Really hasn't got a pitch to get them out, hasn't made some good pitches to them. Right-handers, no problem, hitting below 100. But Stottlemyre comes into a game now, club's down by 2 runs. He's got some room to work. He can go out there and just relax and try to get his act together a little bit. We know what kind of trouble he's had starting. He's 1-7. But he needs some work. There's no question about his stuff. It's just a matter of his getting confidence that he can pitch in the big leagues.
He was the losing pitcher Saturday against Chicago in relief of Nunez.
Blue Jays are a little bit thin in the bullpen now. You look back, Wells can't pitch tonight. Stottlemyre's in the game now because of the injury. They've got Eichhorn and Henke out there.
Get on the phone and get Steve Davis. He could use another left-hander.
It depends on Cerutti's injury. There you look at a bullpen. Dwayne Ward. Pat Borders can probably throw. He's got a strong arm.
Ward can pitch tonight.
There you look at the lineup. Wells, he's scratched. They got his name up there, but he can't warm up tonight. Ward will be all right for a hitter or 2. Stottlemyre's in the game. Henke and Eichhorn, they can work tonight.
First pitch by Stottlemyre, a fastball. Looked like it was a pretty good pitch, didn't it? Umpire thought it was a little high. Spike on the hitter. Slide out of the second.
With runners at first and third, the Blue Jays middle infielders are playing for a double play. They're in at the corners, as you see Gruber on the grass and McGriff holding the runner on at first.
Broken popper out into right field. Base hit. Rice comes in to score.
Boy, when things are going your way, everything works. That ball broke Owen's bat in half, and the big end of the bat goes directly into the seats. jammed with the fastball, sawed him off right at the handle. Owens is credited with a base hit and an RBI. Mosby trying to deke the runner so he couldn't advance. That bat went 12 rows into the seats.
And it hit somebody.
And they're intending to someone back behind that on-deck circle. There you see the crowd. Hit somebody in the head down
Look,
there.
you can see the blood on that gentleman's right under his eye, it looks like.
Boy, that's dangerous. A big end of the bat go in there like that.
The rookie Brady Anderson, nobody out. Bottom of the fourth inning, a 4-3 ball game. He bounces, pops it up. McGriff is there to make the catch, but the runners get back to their bases.
Boy, Brady Anderson's having a tough go of it now. Fred McGriff made a catch of that line drive, but runners alertly back to the bags. But Brady Anderson is struggling. He's trying to bunt his first time up once again. This is just a sacrifice, but hits it too hard on the line. You're supposed to hit it on the ground. That's the only thing you're concerned about. McGriff, a good fielder with a strong arm, checked second base, but nothing was doing.
Now Ellis Burke steps in. He's 2 for 2 tonight. 7 hits for the Red Sox, 6 for the Blue Jays. Cerrone at second. Spike Owen down at first. Stottlemyre checks the runners.
Burks has singled twice and scored twice.
This is Stottlemyre's 4th appearance out of the bullpen. Pops it up, but in foul territory. McGriff will have a play. 2 down. Marty Barrett, the second baseman, will step in. He's 0 for 2. Stottlemyre can get out of this. Just giving up 1 run, he will have done his job. Time has been called. No pitch. A week from tonight, the Red Sox and the Blue Jays in Toronto at 7:35 for a 3-game series. Blue Jays have 6 games remaining on this road trip, including tonight's. Pops it out into left field. Bell will come in, calls Mosby off, makes the play for the 3rd out. So Stottlemyre, a nice job out of the bullpen in relief of John Cerutti. 4-3, Jays lead it. You're watching Labatt's Blue Jays baseball on TSN. Here is the first base coach, and Johnny McLaren, who managed 8 years in the Jays organization and then joined the big league club in '86. 4-3, Blue Jays leading Boston. 5th inning as Nelson Liriano will lead it off. Well, they've just made an announcement on John Cerutti. Go ahead, Buck.
It was hit just below the right kneecap, and they're taking him for x-rays. So hopefully it was far enough below the kneecap that there was no damage.
Liriano lost the fly ball to Ellis Burke, the center fielder. He's out of there. So that'll bring up Tony Fernandez, who's 0 for 2 tonight.
Well, Claudia Cerutti's probably home worried about her husband, John, but he had a smile on his face when he walked off the field, Claudia. So
she saw it, too.
Hopefully it's not all that serious. Probably mess up his golf game on Thursday.
He's a pretty good golfer, too, isn't he?
Tell me about it.
Oh, can he hit a ball.
Those pitchers got it made. That's all they do is play golf.
Can he outdrive you?
now.
I'll tell you, you've never seen Buck hit a golf ball. It's worth the price of admission.
If I could only hit a baseball that far.
Well, you had enough cracks at it.
Yeah, I was swinging hard at it.
What is your lifetime average? I never did check to see.
I'm about
is it over 200?
I'm an 8 handicap.
3 balls and no strikes to Fernandez. He's on.
You know, I don't really know what it is. You play so many years and they just kind of run together.
Is it over 200?
Oh, it's well over 200.
205?
Probably about 225.
Yeah, it is somewhere in there.
See, you knew. You were just agitated.
I like the way he said probably 225.
225.63.
That's better.
Fernandez on with a walk with 1 out.
Mosby, as you can see there, 1 for 2. Hernandez with just 3 stolen bases, and Mosby jumps in that first pitch. Cerrone might have a play. He does.
Look at Oil Can Boyd all the way in there to protect against a ball bouncing out of Cerrone's glove. Mosby popped it up, frustration.
Our guest on Extra Innings. There's the number. Mark it down. Give us a call, collect, and have a chat with the Shaker after the game tonight. He's usually good for a couple of good lines.
We got to ask him about that meeting they had behind second.
Oh, you had that meeting. You had it pegged.
I've heard that meeting before.
Yeah. Mullinex hit a double into the left field corner back in the first inning. Hernandez looked like he was going and then hustles back to first. Mullinex is he's in a hot streak. 7 hits in his last 15 at-bats. Not bad, is it?
Here's the view from behind the first base bag. The look at Fernandez gets when he checks Boyd's delivery. Back to third. It's interesting to watch Boyd as he guns set. He looks towards home, and then just before he unloads, he looks back to second base. There's nobody there, Oil Can. Check him out. Watch now, he'll glance back to second. Not this time.
There he goes.
Pitch out.
The pitch out by Cerrone. They get him. So once again, Mullinex is left standing at the plate. And that's the second runner that Cerrone has thrown out tonight.
Looked like Fernandez had a decent jump, but with the pitch out, a little bit inside the bag at second base. Owens takes the tag. Cerrone 2 for 2 tonight. Nice job by the veteran catcher. The Blue Jays still lead by a run in the middle of the 5th. You're watching Labatt's Blue Jays Baseball on TSN. Wade Boggs, you have a tremendous practice habit. You've really developed some great practice habits. When did you begin this, and how did you become aware that this type of practice was going to make you a great hitter?
Well, as far as the practice goes, that stems from the Little League days and the growing-up days my father instilled in me. My father was retired Air Force, 25 years in the Air Force, and he always taught me that if you practice and practice hard and practice right, then good things will come out of that practice, and I'm living proof of that.
Boy, I'll say he is, isn't he?
Boy, he works hard every day, feeling his ground balls, comes out and works with batting instructor Walt Breniak, and he always practices good things, driving that ball to left field. You can see how he watches that ball all the way into the glove.
He didn't like that ball. You could see the look in his face. It looked like it might have been a little inside.
But this is when he's at his best. 2 strikes. Great concentration from Wade Boggs.
Line to left field. Bell let it drop in front. He couldn't have made the play there. And gets it back into Liriano. That ball gets away from him, but McGriff is covering. So Boggs gets his first hit of the night.
Great concentration. Away from him, that's right to his strength. Good fastball hitter. Look at his head. Stay right down. That's a thing that Walt Breniak wants those hitters to do. Keep that head on the ball. Cuts down the movement, makes the ball have a good look at that ball. you know, they talk about a golf swing and a baseball swing causing problems for one another. I don't think that's the case. Your concentration is the same. Your head has to stay still, and you follow through with that lead hand.
No, just a minute, Buck. How would you ever know that?
They told me that. Charlie Lau used to tell me, look at Brett, he can hit, he can play golf too. I had great instruction for a long time. It just didn't pay off.
A ball and no strikes to Dewey Evans. Walk and an RBI single. Chops that down to Fernandez. Could be two. Liriano for one. McGriff double play.
Pitcher's favorite pitch. After a leadoff single, Stottlemyre gets a ground ball to Tony Fernandez. Taylor made double play. Fernandez with a quick throw to Liriano. And once again, we talk about Liriano's confidence. He stands right in there and fires a bullet to first base. Nice double play.
Mike Greenwell, the DH tonight. Tomorrow it'll be Roger Clemens against Jim Clancy. Clemens at 8-2, Clance at 2-6. And then Sunday, Jeff Sellers at 0-5 and Dave Steve at 7-3. Steve 6-0 for the month of May. Viola was named the pitcher for the month of May, and he was 6-0. Why didn't they name co-winners?
I told Steve because Viola pitched in the World Series. Who knows? But Steve certainly deserved consideration. Finished up on a strong note with that one hitter on the 31st. Stottlemyre struggling with his control of it. Behind Greenwell, 3-0 as the skipper looks on. I'd like to see another fine outing from the bullpen. Wednesday night it was Ward with 3 strong innings. Last night Wells with 4 1/3. Henke came in, did his job, but Rice just moved one over the infield, and then Eichhorn got the save last night.
It was a catchable ball that Rice hit out into right field last night. It fell in for a base hit, 2 runs scored, and with one pitch, Henke could have and should have been out of the ball game. And with his 10th save, that's chopped down to Fernandez. He'll make the play to McGriff. As Stottlemyre faces the minimum 3 hitters here in the 5th inning to protect a 1-run lead. You're watching Labatt's Blue Jays baseball on TSN. Now let's go to this TSN update.
Third base coach John McLaren. John, when you come into Fenway Park, there's so many unique curves and bounces in this ballpark. Do you really have to pay attention to those, coaching third base?
Well, for one thing, of course, we know about the green monster, and that gives the left fielder a chance to play shallower. Because the ball's up in the air, he just plays it off the wall, so he can play shallower. So on a base hit, gives him a chance to cut the run off. And then when you get a ball down the third baseline, it hits the stands and it bounces back towards shortstop. So of course their shortstop knows how to play it, and you got to be alert, because usually if you don't know this ballpark, the ball bounces back, but the guy's always there. So it is unique.
Third base coach Johnny McLaren, and yes, it sure is unique. The count to Mullenix, 3 balls and no strikes. Here as he leads things off in the 6th inning. Toronto leading 4-3. I'm Fergie Olver, along with color commentator Buck Martinez, producer Tom McKee, director Michael Lansbury, and Stephanie Williams, who keeps everybody in line.
Oil Can starting the 6th inning with a walk. That's not what he wanted to do. You remember a couple innings ago, there's you look at Dennis Lamp, up for the 2nd time in the Red Sox bullpen. Bill Fisher, John McNamara, not pleased with what they're seeing right now as Oil Can Boyd continues to struggle a little bit with his control.
Now George Bell looking for his first hit tonight. He walked and scored in the 4th. He reaches and punches that foul. He seems like he's hitting everything off balance, doesn't he?
He's just drifting away from home plate. You know, he says he's not pressing, trying to hit the long ball, but it looks as though he's opening up on everything. Remember last year when he hit all those home runs, he used to drive the ball to right center quite a bit. He would let his quick hands make up for that ball inside. He's just pulling off a fraction. Now that's a pitch he should have really drove. A hanging breaking ball out there, one he gets on top of, and that's when he did a lot of damage last year when he got those hangers out over the plate.
Seems like every time you look up, he's behind 0-2.
Cerrone called that pitch. Boyd started to wind up, but Cerrone wasn't sure he wanted to throw that pitch, so they're going to go with another pitch. One away from Bell. Just fought off a pitch up and away from him. Bell turned around and asked Fred McGriff if that was a bad ball. So that'll give you an idea how uncomfortable and unsure Bell is at home plate.
George with his 8 home runs, and they've all been hit on the road this year. A little lazy fly ball to Jim Rice in left, and Bell is out of there.
It shows you the kind of talent that Bell has, hitting .316 and in a struggle. The Labatt's player of the game for Toronto will receive the 14-watt AM/FM 3D Super Woofer with auto reverse, double cassette, and high-speed dubbing. Just one of a full line of 3D radios from Hitachi.
Now McGriff steps in. He's 2 for 2 tonight. A double and a single. With Mullenix on with a walk down at first, 1 down.
McGriff's got that average back up to 238. Boy, he's slugging .630.
He gets on and Gruber hits a double. You think he'll be hustling a little harder next time?
The thing that's impressed me all year long as you look at the Indians over the Tigers in the 4th inning, 6-0.
Rich Yett getting his 4th win if he can hold on there. Minnesota leading Oakland 4-3. Stewart on the mound for Oakland, striker for Minnesota. Stewart is now 8-3.
Well, what I started to say is you look at the Yankees up 2-0 over Baltimore. And Texas leads the White Sox after 1.
Hayward on the mound for Texas. And Kansas City has Saberhagen on the mound. He's 6-5 against Campbell. Now, Buck, what were you saying?
What I'm saying about McGriff is that he impresses me with his patience at the plate. He's taken a lot of pitches, a lot of close pitches, but he has in his mind what he wants to hit, and he's waiting till he gets that pitch.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Freddie McGriff. A rope into center field. Burt dives, can't get to it. That's going to score Mullenix. McGriff, he better hustle, heading for 3rd, and he's got a triple. For Fred McGriff, his first triple of the season. He's 3 for 3 tonight, and the Jays lead it 5-3. But Ellis Burks, a big effort in center field. And that's all for Oil Can Boyd.
What a great swing McGriff put on that ball. Watch Burks full-out dive, trying to come up with it. He can't quite reach it, but what an effort by the center fielder. Fully extended, but he can't come up with it. And that'll be all for Oil Can Boyd tonight.
It was interesting, Buck, as McGriff was heading into second. He slowed right down and then picked it up and went into 3rd, but he wasn't looking at McLaren. I guess he was looking where he should have been, in the center field at the ball, but he wasn't quite sure whether he should go to 3rd or not. So Dennis Lamp comes in, and Oil Can is out. Oil Can trailing 5-3 with McGriff down at 3rd. This pitching change is brought to you by Remington.
The new Remington Microscreen Ultimate.
The 35-year-old, 11-year veteran, Dennis Lamp, and of course, Blue Jay fans remember him and remember him well because he pitched for 3 years for Toronto. Had a great year in '85. He was 11-0 with a couple of saves. But his 3-year totals with the Blue Jays, 21 and 14, 13 saves. And this year, with Boston, he's 1 and 1. This is his 11th appearance. He has not started a game. His last appearance the other day out in Oakland, he went 2 2/3, gave up a couple of earned runs. Last year, he spent in the minors at Tacoma and then with the Oakland A's, where he was 1 and 3.
Sinker, slider, changeup. That's what Dennis Lamp will feature.
The Blue Jays will be in Cleveland Monday and Tuesday. We'll be doing both of those games. And they'll be there for a 3-game series. The Wednesday game is televised on CTV. New York at Montreal, June the 10th. 7:30 start with Jimmy Houston and Kenny Singleton. Lots of baseball coming up on TSN. Well, you know Dennis Lamp and you know him well, Buck. He has struggled the last couple of years.
Well, in Toronto, he had a bit of a problem. Physical problems early in the year in '86. Never really got on track. But you can all remember back to '85 how important he was to that pennant drive. Every time he came in, he shut the door, gave the ball club a chance to get back in the game.
Every pitcher wishes he had a year like that. He was perfect, 11 and 0.
That triple by McGriff was his first major league triple. So that meeting in center paid off.
Now remember what McGriff has tonight. He's got a chance to hit for the cycle. He's got the single, the double, and with him, the toughest hit of all would be the triple, and he's got that now.
He's going to have a couple more shots at it, too.
Yep. Well, at least one.
Red Sox are playing in on the infield. They're trying to cut off the run at the plate. 1 out here in the 6th inning.
A pitch by Lamp. The inside corner that Gruber goes after.
There's that good sinker ball that Lamp has been looking for the last couple of years. Said he'd like to be pitching more. He's throwing the ball well, but just hasn't had an awful lot of opportunities to pitch.
Chop foul down the right side.
Gruber knows Lamp well, of course, as do all the Blue Jays. They know that they're going to get a majority of sinkers. And that slider occasionally. But as long as they're good ones, it's tough to do anything but beat them into the ground. And that's what the Red Sox want right now.
A ball and 2 strikes. Lamp was very close to not stopping there.
He's had trouble with it. He did it in spring training in a game that cost his club a run and an eventual loss. And it made a big impression on him. He's always been one to be real close. Just watch him this time. There's a definite stop. Slider off the end of the bat.
Right field. It drops in. Base hit. McGriff will score. And Gruber will head to second. And that'll bring up the catcher, Ernie Witt.
Ernie Witt, how important is this road trip? You come here to Boston and play 4, and then you go to Cleveland. For you to get back in the pennant race, do you have to have a good road trip right now?
Well, there's no question. Playing against Eastern Division clubs, we want to do well against them, and we have a little momentum going. It's something that we haven't had in the earlier part of the year, and I can just feel the excitement on the team, and I think things are going to happen for us.
Looks like a prophet, doesn't he?
Yep. He's got a couple of runs batted in tonight.
Jays have got their hitting shoes on tonight in Fenway.
It is 6-3, Toronto leading. 1 down, 6th inning. Boy, that looked like a pretty good pitch. You looked at me and I looked at you as the umpire said it was a ball.
I thought we were looking at a different picture.
Greg Koss behind home plate.
Lamp felt Gruber was off a little bit too far and going to chase him back. finger to the outside corner.
Our producer, Tom McGee, just told me that we've got to be careful up here what we say about these umpires. He was reminding me that an umpire threw the public address announcer out of a ball game for what he said. But
yeah. Played three blind mice or something over the Oregon.
Right, been cheated.
Yeah. I can't believe they take that personally.
2 balls and a strike.
They couldn't get us till the night after the game and watch
right.
the replay. I'll be in Calgary tomorrow. You'll be here.
Get another clinic?
Another Petro-Can clinic.
Tell us about it.
Out from Calgary Foothill Stadium with the Calgary Cannons. Home of John Pickett.
Our statistician. Get John out there helping you tomorrow.
Well, he's going to stay here and do a ball game, I think.
Well, he can fly up and then fly back. He's got lots of money.
Well, yeah, you know,
He's rich.
got that Olympic background. What a guy, huh?
Carries Doug Kelcher's wallet around with him in his back pocket. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Ernie Witt. He's jammed on that one and hits it down to Barrett. Gruber advances to third. 2 down. And that'll bring up Jesse Barfield. The line on Oil Can Boyd, he went 5 1/3, 6 runs, 6 earned, 7 hits, struck out 1 and walked 3. 81 pitches he threw. Barfield tonight is 0 for 2. Hit into a double play in the 4th inning.
Lamp looks like he's got that good sinker. That's the key to his success, movement. Throw that ball low in the strike zone and let it work its way down out of the strike zone. Produced a lot of ground balls. When Lamp is successful, he's throwing a lot of strikes with both his sinker and his slider.
Got a great sense of humor, doesn't he?
He's a riot. He told me today, he said, I feel like Billy Sunday. I only pitch on the weekends.
Well, he should be thankful he's just pitching with the year he had last year and the struggle that he has had. And I don't say that sarcastically.
Oh, no. He knew it was very close to being over, but, you know, he doesn't live too far away from Boston and happy to be part of the Red Sox.
Did he build a new home in this area?
Sure did.
Two balls and 2 strikes now to Barfield.
Barfield lined back to Boyd in the 2nd inning. Hit that ball pretty good, but Boyd made a nice play to snare the liner. And then he grounded into a double play in the 4th.
Line into center field. Burt's right there and makes the play. So Gruber is stranded at third, but the Blue Jays score a couple of runs here in the 6th and lead it 6-3. You're watching Labatt's Blue Jays baseball on TSN. Park in Boston. It's the Blue Jays 6, the Red Sox 3. And last night, the former Speaker of the House, Tip O'Neill, was at the ball game after undergoing an operation for cancer, and he was in good spirits. What a Red Sox fan he is. Rice, Cerrone, and Owen, bottom of the 6th inning, will face the right-hander Todd Stottlemyre. In case you joined us late, John Cerutti started, went 3 innings, gave up 6 hits, 3 runs, didn't strike anybody out, and walked 1, but he had to leave the game in the 4th inning after Rick Cerrone lined one off his right knee, inside of his right knee, and John right now has gone to the hospital for x-rays. And everyone's keeping their fingers crossed that he'll be fine. Jim Rice fouls off another one. He's 0-2. Rice in his 14th season with the Red Sox. What a career he has had. 32 home runs off Blue Jay pitching. He's hit 15 of them here. He's the all-time home run leader against Toronto. Played 8 All-Star games, a lifetime 302 hitter. Set up on the outside, and Stottlemyre misses. 1 and 2.
Always a tough out.
That's a little pop-up behind second. Liriano calls for it. Now let's go to Buck and another catcher, Rick Cerone.
Rick Cerone, you were released by the Yankees this spring and then came back and landed on your feet here in Boston. It has to be a good feeling to come up here and play for these Red Sox.
Well, it's a place where I always liked coming to play as a visiting player. I've always hit well here. I enjoyed playing in Fenway Park. I like the fans here. They always get into the game. And I really think that getting released brings you down to reality. It's a little shock. It's an adjustment. I had 10 days away from it, and I realized that there are important things besides baseball, like family and getting a real job. That's what I keep saying. But I was thankful the opportunity came here, and I'm trying to make the most of it.
That he has.
Buck, you know, as a former big leaguer yourself, you always know that day is going to come when you're finished, and actually it's a sad day, but it's something that you've got to prepare yourself for the last few years of your career.
Boy, some people never adjust when that time comes. I've got some friends that will go unnamed that have just really struggled 2-3 years after they've been out of the game, and they're just wandering around and wondering what to do. But I tell you, it's very humbling. And fortunately for me, I was actually told I couldn't play as far back as 1977. So I was released 3 times. So I could handle it.
Boy, that'll get you ready.
And then what happens is you say, well, you know, I think I can still play, but, you know, you got to think about other things. When I came to Toronto, I was just like Cerone, home for 10 days.
Well, I'll tell you, you couldn't get here fast enough. That's a fair ball. As Cerone will stay at first.
That's one of those unique Fenway Park base hits. Just inside the bag at third base. And it caroms off that grandstand facing down there in the left field area. Nick Bremigan indicates fair. Now watch the kick. Generally, if that ball hits on there hard enough, it'll come right back towards the shortstop, and he's got to hustle out there to get it. But Bell makes the play here. Watch. Great position by the umpire right on top of the play. Hits the foul line. He says fair ball. Now he turns to see if a fan interferes with it down there.
The batter is the shortstop, Spike Owen. Takes it high and inside from Stottlemyre with 1 down here at the bottom of the 6th inning. Cerone at first. 6-3 Blue Jays leading Boston. Remember what happened last night. The Blue Jays had a 5-0 lead with 2 down in the 9th inning. And the Red Sox came back to score 4 runs and left with the bases loaded. And Greenwell popped it up.
Jimmy Williams would certainly like to have Stottlemyre give him a couple more quality innings to get at least to the 8th and 9th. Wells pitched 4 1/3 last night. He's out of commission for tonight. Ward can probably go an inning. Then you got Hinkie and Eichhorn.
Interesting comment made by Jimmy Williams, the Buck and I before the game. He said, what about Hinkie? And Williams talks to his pitching coach, Galen Cisco. Will you get him back out there tonight? You know, after he struggled his last 2 or 3 starts. And Jimmy Williams said, you bet. He'll be out there tonight if he has to be.
He's the man. He's got the history of saving games for the Blue Jays, and Jimmy Williams is not going to let a couple of bad outings influence his decision. He's going to send Hinkie right back out there. He'll make sure that he doesn't lose his confidence. There's a look at the Hink man out there, sitting next to Sully, discussing the attendance here tonight, having a great conversation, but they got to get Hinkie back out there.
The 2-2 pitch is high to Spike Owen. Stottlemyre, when he came into the game in the 4th inning, the first hitter that he faced was Spike Owen. And he had a little blooper out into right for a base hit. Broke his bat, shot it right off, and he drove in a run with that.
Towne is hanging tough against Stottlemyre. I mentioned earlier, he's on a 5-game streak.
Down to Liriano. He'll go to Fernandez for one. McGriff, double play. Pitcher's favorite friend, the double play, does the job here in the 6th, just like it did in the 5th. 6-3, Blue Jays leading. You're watching Labatt's Blue Jays baseball on TSN. Well, a crowd of at least 30,000 here tonight, I would suspect. Fenway Park seats just over 33. It looks like it's very close to being filled. Liriano, Fernandez, and Mosby here in the 7th inning with Toronto leading by 3. What a ballpark. Isn't this it, Buck?
Great ballpark. Always fun to come here as a player. Like Rick Cerone talked about on that little interview, fans are really into the game. It's in a nice neighborhood right around downtown Boston. Come around, they're selling Italian sausage outside, hot pretzels, peanuts. Really a baseball atmosphere.
Liriano takes a strike from Dennis Lamp. Liriano was 0 for 4 in last night's game, and he's 0 for 2 here tonight. And today he's 24 years old.
He just looks a little more comfortable at the plate. The last few games we've seen him, like things are starting to come together for him. Hopefully he can get it going, start swinging that bat.
A chopper, Barrett backhands it, turns, flips it. They get him. What a play by Marty Barrett as Liriano has lots of speed.
Barrett really does a nice job at second base. Wheels and throws, strong arm, off-balance throw, right on the money. It gets Liriano, and he's having a tough time of it. He can't buy a hit. Good play by the second baseman to take away a hit from his opposition, Nelson Liriano.
Fernandez 0 for 2 with a walk. He was thrown out in the 5th, trying to steal second. Not walked in the last 14 games, except for his walk here in the 5th inning tonight.
Lamp in danger of losing Fernandez.
That hurt.
That's really a tough thing to do when you get a 3-0 count on you, to take a little check swing like that and foul it at the plate. Then on top of all that, hit yourself in the foot.
Fernandez hitting at 264 from the left side of the plate. Fly ball out into left center field. Burke's running over. Rice is there, and Burke will take it. This day in baseball, Lou Gehrig becomes the first American League player to hit 4 home runs in a game. What a player he was.
You know what else happened today?
What?
100 years ago, Casey at the Bat was published.
That's right.
In the San Francisco Examiner.
Right. Read about that today.
Right. Ernest Lawrence Thayer.
Did you name your boy after that poem?
Sure did. Casey at the Bat.
That was Casey.
100 years old. Good.
Is he going to be a catcher just like Dad?
Oh, he's catching. Hopefully he can hit it a little bit better than Dad.
Mosby fouls that out of play. 2 down here in the 7th inning. The Blue Jays with 8 base hits. The Red Sox with 9. And the big guy in the Blue Jay lineup tonight, Freddie McGriff, has scored 3 times, a single, a double, a triple. There's an RBI.
Pretty excited, isn't he? Having a great time here
Looks
tonight.
like he was asleep there for a moment.
David Wells. He doesn't know what's going on. He's got an off day tonight. Look at it. He's throwing sunflower seeds or something.
Mosby hits that to Evans. He'll flip it to Lamp, and Lamp beats Mosby. 3 up, 3 down for Dennis Lamp and the Red Sox. We head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Blue Jays lead by 3. You're watching Labatt's Blue Jays baseball on TSN. Sitting at home, can you name the 3 players who have hit 3 home runs in 1 game for the Blue Jays? Okay, time's up. There are your answers. Out of Velez, Ernie Witt, and George Bell. Ernie hit his 3 home runs. Remember when the Blue Jays hit the 10 home runs in 1 game against Baltimore? And of course, George in the opener in Kansas City this year. Brady Anderson against Todd Stottlemyre. Bottom of the 7th inning. Set a long ways, but up into the stands. Out of play. You know the Blue Jay pitching staff, they have not allowed a home run in the last 57 innings pitched. I hate to even give a stat like that. It's like the kiss of death.
Wow.
But boy, oh boy, what a streak they're on.
Not that ball players are superstitious or anything.
Remember, you're not a ball player anymore.
I didn't say it. You did.
I can just hear people sitting at home saying, why did he have to say that?
Stottlemyre gets Brady Anderson to strike out. That's Stottlemyre's first strikeout. Anderson continues to struggle. Stottlemyre, as I mentioned, this could be a key outing for him when he came in relief. Had a 2-run lead when Cerutti got hit on the knee with that line drive off the bat of Cerrone. And Stottlemyre has only given up 3 hits. And Jimmy Williams is pleased about that. Once again, his bullpen is coming up with a good outing.
Blue Jays' longest winning streak this year, 5 games. You have to go back to April the 23rd when it finished. Since then, the longest winning streak, just 2 games until this current stretch. They've won 3, and they're looking at number 4 right between the eyes. Down to McGriff. He'll go to Stottlemyre, and they get Ellis Burks. And that'll bring up the second baseman, Marty Barrett.
Marty Barrett, the difference between 1st and 4th place is just a matter of some clutch hitting because your ball club's really swinging the bat well, leading the American League in hitting, but those clutch hits just aren't coming through.
You said it, Buck. The key situations, and then on 2nd and 3rd, less than 2 outs, where you need to put the ball in play to at least get a run, and we're not even doing that. That's what we need to do. If we had some clutch hits, you know, you're talking the confidence factor, too. You win a game you shouldn't have won by getting some clutch hits. Now, the next day when you lose again, you might have won that game the next day just because you won the day before. That was easy, wasn't it?
Did you understand that?
I didn't understand that one bit.
He said, build some confidence, win some games you shouldn't have won from the day before. I don't know.
I tell you, the fans here in Boston are pretty upset with the Red Sox this year, aren't they? The Red Sox, they've been struggling, but they're only 7 games out, so it's not as if they're 10.5 out like the Blue Jays.
The pressure's on that man, Johnny Mack.
Well, I don't know why it would be. If his players aren't producing, I know they always look at the managers, same as in Toronto. They look at Jimmy Williams, and they sure didn't look at him last year. He won 96 games, did a great job. And because of injuries this year, and trying to break in a couple of rookies.
You got 4 youngsters on the team.
It's not fair, I'll tell you.
It goes with the territory.
And it's still not fair.
Not fair. There's only 26 of them, so you got to realize there's a lot of pressure. And this Blue Jay club is a good club. They've developed a history of winning, and I think they intend to continue that history. And the fans now expect winning baseball in Toronto.
Get down to Fernandez. Long throw, and they get Barrett. 3 up, 3 down for Todd Stottlemyre and the Blue Jays. And we're heading to the 8th inning. Blue Jays lead by 3. You're watching Lovette's Blue Jays baseball on TSN. Story tonight so far has been Todd Stottlemyre. What a job he has done. He came on in the 4th inning with 2 runners on, nobody down, and gave up a single to Spike Owen. He drove in an RBI, and then he's allowed only 3 base hits over 4 innings. And of course, that's one of the stories, Stottlemyre. He's looking at his 2nd win of the season.
That's the kind of thing that could really turn a season around, especially for a young pitcher. He came in here with a 2-run lead. He's pitched well, and boy, what a confidence builder this could be.
Griff, of course, with 3 base hits tonight. But the batter right now is Rance Mullinix. Rance doubled in the 1st inning, grounded out in the 4th, and walked and scored a run in the 6th. Dennis Lamb still on the mound for Boston. Mullinix hits that high in the air to center field, where Burks will wait for it, and he makes the play.
You know, with the questionable injuries, Nunez coming out of the game last night might be forced to miss a start. Cerutti, there's no way of telling yet the extent of his injury, but if Stottlemyre comes out here tonight and continues to throw the way he has to this point, he might deserve a shot, get back in that rotation, and who knows, maybe he'll get hot and string some together. But you gotta have
Nunez's injury, Dr. Pappas apparently told Tommy Craig and Nunez, I'll get to that in a moment, a ground ball by Bell, and he's out of there 2 down, that it's a type of injury that it might heal very quickly, yet in Nunez's next start, all of a sudden might reoccur again. So it's something we're going to have to be watching for.
He said he felt it a little bit last time out, even before last night, so he's had some problems with it. The thing about that is you hate to go out there when it's questionable and injure it to the extent where you might miss a couple weeks.
Okay, let's keep our eyes on Freddie McGriff as he's trying to hit for the cycle tonight. McGriff doubled and scored in the 2nd. Singled and scored in the 4th. Tripled and scored in the 6th. He has upped his average now to 342. He picked up 13 points for those 3 base hits tonight. Griff goes down in strikeouts. Another nice job by Dennis Lamp as he has set down 8 in a row. 6-3, Blue Jays leading. You're watching Labatt's Blue Jays baseball on TSN. 32,292 fans here at Fenway tonight to watch this one. Blue Jays leading by 3, and John Pickett, our statistician, has just told Buck Martinez, passed on some information. Go ahead, Buck.
No Blue Jay has ever hit for the cycle. Of course, we're taking note of McGriff's opportunity tonight. Only 2 opponents have hit for the cycle versus the Blue Jays. Mike Cubbage of the Twins back in July of '78 in Minnesota, and then Rich Gedman of the Red Sox. September 18th, 1985, right here in Fenway Park.
2 balls and no strikes as the Blue Jay bullpen. Hankey on the right and Dwayne Ward on the left. They're up and throwing. Stottlemyre facing Wade Boggs. 2 balls, no strikes. Boggs tonight 1 for 3.
That double-barreled action in the Blue Jays bullpen indicates the fact that Hankey is not throwing that well. Even though Jimmy Williams will bring him into the game, he wants to make sure that he has Ward out there pretty close to being ready. It's a cool night here in Fenway, and those guys have been sitting down there for 7 innings. So he's going to get them both up in this situation.
Ward has allowed just 1 earned run his last 8 outings, or 8 innings pitched. So he's done a terrific job out of that bullpen.
He's going to go out there and tell him, listen, you got a 3-run lead. Don't walk yourself into trouble. And that leadoff batter in the 8th inning is something that drives pitching coaches crazy. Galen Cisco is going to go out here and talk to the young right-hander. In Fenway Park, You hate to see pitchers put anybody on. Make them earn their way. Stottlemyre knows that he made a big mistake by walking Boggs.
One advantage that the Blue Jays had in bringing Galen Cisco up from Syracuse was the fact that he was with the team in spring training. He knows all the pitchers. He's not like a stranger coming in and helping the Blue Jays out in Al Whitmire's absence.
Galen is an outstanding pitching coach. I played with him when he was a pitcher in Kansas City. He pitched here in Boston a little bit for the Red Sox. You know, that guy was the captain of the Ohio State football team.
Played the Rose Bowl.
With the great Howard Cassidy, Hopalong Cassidy.
Dwight Evans.
He's upstairs now, might be a little bit tired. That's a good sign.
The Baltimore Orioles, June the 20th, start a 4-game series in Toronto. A little off that pitch. Low for a ball. He's behind. Low.
That's all right in that situation to throw that breaking pitch like he did. What Ernie Whitt's trying to do is get Stottlemyre to follow through once again. He's thrown 5 straight fastballs up in the strike zone, trying to get him back downstairs.
There's a strike. Last time up with Boggs on first, Evans hit into a double play. Stottlemyre will be trying to get that one again. Evens it up at 2-2.
Evans might have done Stottlemyre a favor by going after that pitch. Looked like it was a little bit up. But the youngster's done a good job.
He's allowed just 3 hits and walked only 1. That's Boggs sitting down at first. Anytime you send a rookie out there with nobody out, runners at first and second, and you get out of it with just 1 run, you've done a pretty good job. And even that was a jam shot. Broken bat hit into shallow right by Spike Owen. Pops it up. Hernandez, the shortstop, will take it. 1 down. That'll bring up Mike Greenwell. Lloyd Mosby, the shaker, will be our guest tonight on Extra Innings. There's the number to call. Mark it down, 445-1811. Give us a call select, and you can ask the shaker anything you wish. Now Greenwell, who's 1 for 3 with an RBI, steps in against the right-hander Stottlemyre.
Greenwell singled in the first inning to extend his hitting streak to 10 games. We talked about it earlier. He's been bothered by a right shoulder problem. It's really caused him some problems throwing, more so than hitting. But he's been out of the lineup for 3 days. Yesterday was his first start.
Stottlemyre, doesn't he appear to be throwing a slider a little more tonight?
You know, I thought I'd seen a couple sliders tonight, and they had taken it away from him earlier in the season.
That's hit down the left field line, but it goes into the stands.
I know what Al Whitmire had originally wanted was Stottlemyre to perfect fastball, curveball, changeup, really get comfortable with that. But he's having so much trouble with the left-handed batters that I think they're trying to get him to work it in a little bit so he has something that'll break in on the left-handed hitters and really give him a pitch that he might be able to jam the left-handers with.
He jammed Greenwell, and he got out in front of that one.
But you know, if you have that slider that starts out over the plate and then breaks in on the left-hander's hands, that'll cause him to open up a little bit, be a little bit quick, and then you can go to the fastball away. You can throw that big break and curveball, and you'll be out in front of it a little bit. But they're trying to develop this youngster a little bit further because he's got outstanding stuff.
Stottlemyre's ahead in the count now, 0-2. So how do you pitch Greenwell in this situation?
They're going to go upstairs with a fastball. He likes the ball down out of the plate. They'll probably go upstairs. Throw him a curveball. See, I'm wrong. That's why I'm up here. They tried to get the curveball over there and get him to go after a bad pitch. what Ernie Witt's thinking there is if we show him a breaking pitch down in the strike zone, now we can come back with that good hard fastball that Stottlemyre throws so well upstairs. There it is.
Pops it up. Bell coming over along the line, and he makes the play. So Boggs will head back to first. 2 down here in the 8th inning. That'll bring up the left fielder, Jim Rice. Well, you called that one right.
Stottlemyre is showing an awful lot of toughness in this situation when he started the inning off by walking Boggs on 4 straight pitches, got the tough Dwight Evans to pop up the short, made a good pitch on the youngster Mike Greenwell. So this will do a lot for his confidence once again if he can pitch out of this jam in the 8th inning.
Rice also scored a run in the 4th.
You know, each time you go out there when you're a young pitcher and have a successful outing, a successful inning, you build on that. You really build confidence each time out there. You learn a little bit every time you go out there. And that's what they're hoping that Stottlemyre does in his stint in the bullpen.
His best outing this year happened up in Seattle. He had 6 1/3 perfect innings. Blue Jays won that one 9-2.
Maybe we just need to fly his mom around a little bit more. They live in Yakima, Washington, and she was there in Seattle. But
well,
he's got an awful lot of promise.
Buck, we've got some great news. X-rays show no fracture on John Cerutti. Boy, is that good to hear.
Well, that's a good break for the Blue Jays, and hopefully it'll be a...
He's going to have one
contusion.
Heck of a sore left or right knee.
A contusion, hematoma. Going to pack it nice for a day or two, I bet you.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Upstairs. Shallow center, and he's going to cough. No, Mosby comes in and makes the play. So the Blue Jays, through 8 innings of play, lead it 6-3. You're watching Labatt's Blue Jays baseball on TSN. 6-3, Blue Jays leading. Dennis Lamp on the mound for Boston, and he has given up just 1 hit through 2 2/3 innings.
That was a little blooper of Kelly Gruber's bat. He was the first batter that Lamp faced, and Gruber hit one off the end of the bat and fell in front of a diving Brady Anderson in right field. There's the good news.
Put it on the scoreboard here in Fenway. Gruber chops that one foul. Lamp came on in relief of starter Dennis Oil Can Boyd in the 6th inning. Oil Can pitched 5 1/3. Gave up 7 hits, 6 runs, struck out 1 and walked 3. Gruber, a chopper down to Owen, the shortstop. He's out of there.
You know, this is when Dennis Lamp is at his best. When he comes into a situation where the club is either ahead by a run or down by a run in the middle of the innings, where he's got some leeway to work. He sometimes tenses up in those short inning situations, but in this situation, this is ideal for him. This is the type of innings he worked when he was 11-0 for the Blue Jays in '85.
Red Sox will be at Exhibition Stadium for a 3-game series, and of course it starts Friday, but Saturday is autograph day. Make sure you're there early. Bring your pictures you want signed. Chopped high in the infield. Lamp will make the play on Witt. 2 down.
You know, we talked a little bit earlier about the Petro-Canada Clinic in Calgary. Last week I was in Edmonton, and we got great support from the Edmonton Trappers and Dennis Hinkey, the general manager out there, very supportive, and the turnouts are phenomenal. Commissioner,
Didn't you have about 900 kids?
sure did over the weekend, and the commissioner, Alan Lewis, does a great job of coordinating these things, and Petro-Can, just a fine, fine opportunity for youngsters to learn a little bit about baseball. Of course, I got my pal Duke Snyder out there to
Boy, he's a good one, isn't he?
take the load. Just got a copy of his new book, The Duke of Flatbush. That's outstanding. What a gentleman he is.
Boy, first class all the way.
He's got his wife, Bev, out there. They're on a little cross-country tour. Edmonton last week. Jasper, Banff.
Yeah, he'll spend some time
Yeah.
out in the old Rockies. That's for
They're
sure.
up there today, and Banff's playing some golf. John Pickett's got a long face. He'd like to be up there playing some golf.
The 0-2 count to Barfield, who's looking for his first hit tonight. He's 0 for 3. Lined out a couple of times and hit into a double play. The struggle continues for Jesse. His average now down to 210. Just misses inside. He's a guy you just have to put into the lineup and hope that he's going to come around and start hitting the long ball. 2 strikes, 2 down, 2 balls. Oh, he goes after a bad pitch. Second strikeout for Dennis Lamp, and we're heading to the bottom of the 9th inning. It'll be Cerrone, Owen, and Anderson, the scheduled hitters. You're watching Labatt's Blue Jays baseball on TSN. What a job by the man sitting behind Billy Smith there. Todd Stottlemyre is out of the ball game. Tom Henke is in, but Stottlemyre went 5 innings tonight. Gave up only 3 hits, struck out 1, walked 1, and did not give up a run. So certainly one of his best outings of the season. He threw 63 pitches, and he's looking at his 2nd win of the season. Tom Henke is out there, and Henke gave up 3 hits, a couple of earned runs and a walk, and didn't get an out in last night's game in the 9th inning. So he's got something to prove here tonight. Rick Cerrone, the first hitter. Cerrone, 2 for 3 tonight.
Looks like he's got a little better velocity tonight. He threw that fastball up there pretty well. Cerrone lined out the 3rd when he faced Henke last night in the 9th inning. Good changeup. That split finger pitch had Cerrone way out in front.
Henke with 22 strikeouts in his last 20 in the 3rd innings pitched. 7 career saves against Boston.
Henke needs a good outing. Pretty good pitch there. You know, as many times as he's been out there in tough situations, and Jimmy Williams said he was going to run him right back out there again tonight. But sometimes you need to have some confidence building. Once again,
And he
that
gets
off-speed
Cerrone.
pitch.
The one thing that Williams has done, Ward now has stopped throwing in the bullpen, but he is ready in case Henke should falter.
But it looks like Henke has better velocity tonight. And you know, he went through that spell where he only had 3 appearances in 21 days. So it was a situation where maybe he just didn't have enough work there for a while, but he was in a mechanical slump. Some talk about he might be pushing the ball. And remember that Al Whitmar is back in Tulsa. As Ward is ready, he's standing by. But he'd just as soon not come in this game because this ball club needs Henke throwing well.
I'll tell you, Ward was throwing some kind of heat the other night against Milwaukee.
Boy, he's really come along,
Whoa.
hasn't he?
He sure has. Foul back out of play.
You know, you hate to sound like company men, but when Key and Musselman get back, they're not that far away. You get Henke throwing well, Stottlemyre throwing well again, and Ward throwing as well as he is, plus Wells, Eichhorn. You know, you can paint yourself right back into this pennant race.
Ground ball to Fernandez. He makes the play, 2 down. We're going to have have a pinch hitter for Brady Anderson. It'll be Sam Horn. Sam hit a couple of home runs out Blue Jay pitching last year. Hit .353 against Toronto.
You can see Big Sam is having a struggle of it this year.
Well, he has struck out a lot, just like he did last year.
Last year they brought him up and put him in the lineup, the UBRDH, and he responded with 14 homers.
And he had 4 of those 14 homers the first 6 games.
For a young player, he needs to play on a somewhat regular basis, and he's not getting that time here.
Roger Clemens against Jim Clancy tomorrow afternoon. Clemens at 8-2, Clancy at 2-6, and then on Sunday afternoon, Jeff Sellers at 0-5, Dave Steve at 7-3. The Blue Jays looking at a 4-game winning streak now. Remember, 2 down from last night's ball game. Boston down by 5, and they scored 4 and left the bases loaded.
The batting stance that Horn has, holding that bat out in front of him, you really have to have an awful lot of strength to catch up to a fastball like Hinkie's. Changeup misses outside, 3-1. But Horn has only had 60 at-bats, and it's tough to really get anything generated when you have at-bats so far apart.
3 balls and a strike. Sam Horn. Low, he walks it. Yankee showing a little emotion out there on the mound.
Williams going to check and make sure that he's got the right guys penciled in that Red Sox lineup. Pinch runner in first base. Looks like Eddie Romero. There you see Jimmy Williams riding Romero in Horn's spot. And now Hinkie's got to work with the top of the Red Sox batting order.
Ellis Burks, who's 2 for 4 tonight. 2 down, bottom of the 9th inning. Blue Jays lead by 3. Pitch is low. Well, if they can get Burks on, the tying run will come to the plate.
Changeup out in front. That pitch doesn't seem to be bothering Hinkie at all. He's able to throw that pitch very effectively. What's hurt him of late is the fact that he doesn't have that real good zip on his fastball. But he'll get it back. I tell you, you got to admire Jimmy Williams for sending Hinkie right back out there. He wants his stopper to get it all together. Another good changeup. Jimmy Williams knows that you got to have big 50 throwing hard and doing the job late in the game for your club to go anywhere.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Oh, just is blown away.
Hinkie wants this saved. He wants to get this last out.
Chopper to Fernandez. He'll flip it to Liriano. They get him. The game is over, and the Blue Jays win it 6-3. The Jays have now won their 25th game here tonight. They are 4 games under 500, 10 behind the New York Yankees, and the Jays are on a roll. And tomorrow they'll have their toughest customer all season long to face, Roger Clemens, against Jim Clancy. Jeff Sellers against Dave Steve on Sunday. Freddie McGriff tonight, 3 base hits, single, double, and a triple. Todd Stottlemyre getting his 2nd win of the season, and this is the last pitch of the game. And you look at the reaction, there it is. You're watching Labatt's Blue Jays baseball on TSN. Labatt's Blue Jays baseball has been brought to you by Petro-Canada Dealers and Agents. Our energy is Canada. And by General Motors of Canada Limited. This has been a special presentation of the Sports Network, produced in association with TV Labatt by authority of the Toronto Blue Jays, and may not be rebroadcast in any form without the express written consent of the Blue Jays. The final score, the Blue Jays beating the Red Sox 6-3. The winning pitcher, Todd Stottlemyre at 2-7. The loser, Oil Can Boyd at 5-4. Hanky gets his 10th save. The Labatt's players of the game for Toronto, Fred McGriff. He'll receive the Hitachi 3D Super Woofer. And for Boston, Ellis Burke. He'll receive the new Canon Sure Shot Multi-Telly. As well, an amateur baseball team will be the guests of McGriff and Hitachi at an upcoming game. Blue Jay relief pitchers receive the Skill Super Twist Cordless Power Screwdriver. When the pressure's on, count on Skill. And the new Remington Ultimate shaves as close as a blade or your money back. Major League Baseball next on TSN Monday, June the 6th at 7:30 Eastern, when the Cleveland Indians host the Blue Jays. Then on Friday the 10th at 7:30 Eastern, the Mets will be in Montreal to take on the Expos. Our baseball magic winner tonight, Hazel Hillier of Coburn, Ontario. Now stay tuned for extra innings. Our guest, the Shaker, Lloyd Moseby, will be taking your calls in just a couple of minutes.